Sir.
So, Tarun, what is the government doing for the Great Indian Bustard?
Sir, the Supreme Court had directed the Rajasthan government to install bird diverters on the
Hmm.
power lines, sir.
Hmm.
Government is trying to install those. Further, there were orders to underground the power
Hmm.
supply cables. That
Hmm.
was contested by government, and now Supreme Court has formulated a committee, and the report is not in public as far as I know, sir. So, installing bird diverters and recognizing a definite area for Great Indian Bustard and taking steps for the conservation in that regard.
Recent status, they were recently cited, 12 of them. So, is it increasing, improving, or declining? What is the status, Tarun?
So I'm not aware.
You just Google it, right? Rajasthan se hokar Great Indian Bustard. Okay, so why are we obsessed with tiger? हम टाइगर से क्यों obsessed है? For conserving, हाँ.
So for one, tigers sit at the almost at the top of the food chain, sir. So they help in maintaining a healthy ecosystem by regulating the number of their prey base. And two, sir, tiger is also a representative of the broader conservation efforts of all the animals, of how much our government is paying attention to
It's a keystone species. आप ये बोलोगे, ये वर्ड यूज करोगे, इट्स अ कीस्टोन स्पीशी. और दूसरी चीज, टाइगर इंडिया की सॉफ्ट पावर को भी बढ़ा रहा है, बिकॉज इट्स ओनली साइटेड इन इंडिया. और जगहों पर इतना साइटेशंस इसका नहीं है, चाहे आपका. और इंडिया ने डबल कर लिया है पॉपुलेशन, इसीलिए हम ऑब्सेस्ड हैं. सो नाउ अलवर इज फेमस फॉर इट्स पेठा एज वेल एज द मिल्क केक, राइट?
say,
बट रिसेंटली आई फाउंड रिपोर्ट्स दैट नकली खोए का बन रहा था ये. नाउ तरुण, you are the DM in Alwar. What steps on ground would you take? Because I am a foodie and I love to eat these sweets. और अब मुझे अगर नकली मिलेगा, मेरा स्टूडेंट अगर डीएम होगा तो बहुत नाइंसाफी होगी. So how would you stop it, Tarun?
Sir, under there's a act of central government regarding food adulteration,
Hmm.
and it appoints certain officers just for that food inspection, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, I believe if the milk cakes with bad quality of milk are abundantly available in the market, it is due to uh, incapacity or incapability of these officers to go and check every shop because they must be understaffed or not have the technical expertise to carry out these inspections.
Very good.
I, being a DM, would like to empower them and also, if possible, do myself some field visits and see what is the assessment on the ground.
Hmm.
Sir, further, I can form a committee of both comprising of people from the sir, commerce department and sir, food adulteration department and actual businessmen to devise a long-term strategy to counter this.
A better answer could have been, you could have just spoken about FSSAI, Food Standard, हाँ, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. क्योंकि जो आप गवर्नमेंट एक्ट बोल रहे हो और जो गवर्नमेंट बॉडी बोल रहे हो ना, एक आईएएस ऑफिसर प्रिसाइज रहेगा. क्योंकि एफएसएसएआई न्यूज में था, फूड अडल्ट्रेशन, हमारे मसालों में कैंसर पदार्थ पाए गए थे जो सिंगापुर ने, यूरोप ने रिजेक्ट कर दिए. उसके बाद मदर डेयरी के सैंपल्स फेल हो गए थे, दूध के. अमूल के फेल हो गए थे. मैगी के सैंपल्स में मोनोसोडियम ग्लूटामेट और लेड पाया गया था, जो यूपी के खेतों में से उन्होंने लिया था, जो वहां पर आर्सेनिक और हैवी मेटल्स उसमें पाए गए थे, प्याज में, अनियन में, जो मैगी मसाला में यूज होता है. और तुम्हारा अलवर भी इसीलिए न्यूज में था, राइट? और दिवाली में तो पूरा इंडिया ही जहर खाता है. तो एफएसएसएआई को याद रखना. हाँ, ऑब्वियसली आपका आंसर बिल्कुल ठीक था कि आप उसको एफएफएफ, फंड्स, फंक्शंस एंड फंक्शनरीज, यू विल एम्पावर दोज, यू विल एस्टैब्लिश मोर लेबोरेटरीज, है ना. उनका मैंडेटरी रजिस्ट्रेशन करोगे, वीकली, मंथली, या फिर छापा मारोगे, यू विल शॉक देम एंड ऑल दैट, है ना. तो प्लान्ड विजिट या अनप्लान्ड विजिट भी आप कर सकते हो. वेरी गुड, तरुण. व्हाई मैथमेटिक्स एज एन ऑप्शनल? व्हाट डू यू लाइक अबाउट मैथमेटिक्स?
Sir, I was lucky enough that my father, being a mathematics teacher, demystified mathematics for me. So I was naturally good at it during say childhood, and then later when I learned the mystified version of mathematics in college, I was really charmed by it. Further, sir, the applications of mathematics are enormous. Even my software engineering field is a application of essentially mathematical
But I
equation.
have a different perception, Tarun. Even I prepared for IIT JEE. I got some rank, let's say ISM Dhanbad, way back in 2003, 4. But I could never apply mathematics in my real life except for the board mass. Plus minus multiplication, trigonometry मुझे कभी काम नहीं आया, and then differentiation, integration, all those things which I studied, I felt I wasted a lot of time in algebra and all those things. So what do you make of it? Would you change, demystify this perception for me?
So there was this recent study by Banerjee and Duflo, who got the Nobel Prize in economics, about street mathematics, and they found that people who did not formally study mathematics were very good at doing daily calculations because of the fact that mathematics wasn't a be entirely correct or be entirely wrong type of formulation for them, and two, it had daily application for them, sir. So it is true that children and even students from the college, sir, fear mathematics and do not find mathematics directly applicable to daily life. So our new national education policy is in fact trying to change that by making mathematics interdisciplinary by combining arts and humanities with mathematics, sir.
Very good. Are you aware of the recent ASER report, ASER survey by Pratham NGO? It comes every year with a lot of love letters for the government of India and the Department of Education throughout the country, that the children of the fifth class are incapable of reading the books meant for the children of the third class. Are you aware something about the latest ASER survey?
Sir, I've only read it from the newspapers, a few data points.
A few data points. Can you just highlight what the report says, or give me a crux or a gist of it? Since both your parents are teachers, I expect you to answer this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's fine.
Sir, one data point, as you rightly pointed out, is
Hmm.
that class 5 students 53% of them aren't able to read class 2 textbook, in fact, sir. So this points out to a dire deficit in numerical and reading
Hmm.
rates, sir. So we have, in a sense, a learning poverty in our country. And sir, not only is this limited to students, but also to elderly. So now there are programs as in reading missions to literate our entire population. And I think, sir, empowering our teachers by institutional capacity building and more infrastructure and providing more innovative methods to them to tackle this problem is necessary for reaping our demographic dividend.
So, looking at the ASER report, would you suggest something to your parents, not as a child, but as a student, as a grown-up student, that teachers, you should be more careful for this year, you should be more considerate towards your students in this and this manner. What would you tell your parents? They are teachers, right?
Sir, I've read another study by Muralidharan that used randomized trials. It was back in 2007. But the outcome was this, sir, that if young women from the village were assigned as tutors to students, sir, for their personalized doubt solving, the learning outcomes increased by over 40%. So, sir, this hints towards the direction that because there is one teacher, he is teaching or she is teaching an entire class, they might not be able to give personalized attention to each student. So the way to counter that by maybe taking extra classes or going out of the way, out of the school, and or in fact even hiring or using internship opportunities that the government provides for students in the government schools, reaping those things to provide more better personalized attention to children.
No, does that answer my question? You've given me a policy solution. सिंपल पूछा है कि आप अपने माँ बाप को एज अ स्टूडेंट क्या सजेशन देंगे. Keep it very simple. Come out of Muralidharan ecosystem now.
Sir,
Say
sir,
make it more enjoyable. कुछ भी बोलो. हाँ, simple सा.
Sir, I would ask them to be more approachable, more friendly, someone students can directly reach and be not hesitant about anything, even if they're falling behind in the class.
वेरी गुड, जस्ट दैट, इतना टच मी नॉट एटीट्यूड ना रखें एक टीचर होकर, इतना ही आपको बोलना है। ओके, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द बिश्नोई कम्युनिटी। Why has it always made news? It has done some wonderful work throughout nature conservation and society and community angle. But then it's also in news due to some notorious things which have been happening in this community or by some members of this community. So, how do you look at this whole community?
Sir, the practice of child marriage is very prevalent in the Bishnoi community. And dates, special dates such as Akshaya Tritiya are famous or infamous in this community for marrying of a large number of young females at a
Hmm.
say.
Any other thing? Why are people afraid of this community? There is a perception.
Sir, I'm not aware if this is a specific issue or perception of this community, but this gangster Bishnoi is quite infamous for giving threats to some famous Bollywood stars. With
Okay, the
regard,
barrel prices. Oh, okay, fine. The barrel prices are coming down. The petroleum crude oil barrel. It's I think around about 60 now, and it was I think 83 or 87 a year ago. But why has the government still hiked the excise duty by 2 rupees for diesel and petrol in the recent 1 or 2 days? And even the LPG cylinder has been hiked by 50 rupees, even when the crude prices have come down. What is the reason?
sir, I might be wrong, but I believe this is to offset the losses or the not much profit that these hydrocarbon companies have been making for some time now.
So is the burden being passed on the consumer?
Uh, Sir, the government stated that it won't be passed to the customers, but I read in the news that the LPG cylinders price would be hiked. So
Hmm.
probably in some hydrocarbons, but not
Okay,
in
what,
petrol.
what what could be the possible implications of the same? 50 rupees slender hike. How do you see as a of course you are drawing a huge salary, so you are not a middle class. How do you see from the perspective of a middle class person?
So the first impact of this I see on the women's LPG cylinder is very crucial in women empowerment. So it saves them time from going and picking wood for burning and then facing the health consequences of that carbon emission from that. Further, this will squeeze the health other budget of the poor families, especially in education, even in food, sir, for nutritional food. So all in all, I see that families will suffer both economically and health-wise.
So you have roots both in Haryana as well as Rajasthan.
Sir.
So what do you call yourself? Haryanvi or a Rajasthani?
Sir, I happen to live at almost the border of Rajasthan and Haryana, so I have seen a fair bit of culture of both. In fact, we joke around that we are neither Rajasthani nor Haryanvi, so we are probably a mix of both.
You say, sir, I am an Indian first.
Sir.
चक दे इंडिया की तरह, ना मुझे स्टेट के नाम सुनाई देते हैं और ना मुझे दिखाई देते हैं, है ना? तो आप बोलो कि सर आई एम एन इंडियन फर्स्ट, एंड सर देन सर इट डज नॉट मैटर इफ आई एम फ्रॉम हरियाणा और पंजाब, वी आर फ्रॉम बोथ. सो व्हाई वाज अलवर इंक्लूडेड इन द एनसीआर रीजन? एनसीआर का स्टेटस क्यों मिल गया उसको?
Sir,
इट्स
I'm
कॉल्ड
not aware.
इट्स कॉल्ड अलवर एनसीआर, राइट? यू नो दिस. सो व्हाई? चलो इसके बारे में पढ़िएगा जरूर, बिकॉज मोर स्टेट्स आर डिमांडिंग कि हमारी, मोर सिटीज आर डिमांडिंग, मोर मेयर्स आर डिमांडिंग कि हमारा सिटी को भी एनसीआर में डालो. ओके, एनसीआर में आने का व्हाट आर द बेनिफिट्स टू अ पर्टिकुलर सिटी? आर यू अवेयर ऑफ दिस?
Uh, yes, sir, but I wouldn't like to attempt this because I only hazily remember these
Oh,
things.
let's guess what could be the potential benefits.
Sir. So one, I see that government makes extra efforts, for example, in regarding air quality in the Delhi. This
वेरी
extends
गुड.
to regions in the NCR.
प्रॉपर्टी प्राइसेस अप्रिशिएट होंगे, वहां का क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ बढ़ेगा, एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस आएंगे, मीडिया हाउसेस. अब दिल्ली के मीडिया हाउसेस सारे कहाँ हैं? ग्रेटर नोएडा में है, और नोएडा फिल्म सिटी में है, यूपी में आ गए हो. किसी ने सोचा भी नहीं था यूपी में कि यहां पर टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा ऑफिस होगा। यू अंडरस्टैंड। सो ये फायदा हुआ है नोएडा को वहां दिल्ली एनसीआर में आकर। और तो क्या फायदा है, मेट्रो एक्सटेंड हो गई। कभी नोएडा वालों ने सोचा भी नहीं था कि इस कचरे के ढेर के ऊपर मेट्रो लाइंस चलेंगी, वो भी आ गया। तो बहुत सारी, है ना, क्लीननेस ड्राइव्स हो गई, हाईवेज बन गए इतने अच्छे अच्छे। जेनरिक थिंग, टेक्निकल नहीं पूछा है मैंने और वो भी नहीं पूछेगा। ओके, व्हाट इज द आधार एपिक कंट्रोवर्सी, तरुण? ये भी न्यूज में रोज आ रहा है।
Sir, Government of India has made it voluntary for linking the Aadhaar and the voter ID, sir. However, the process of not giving Aadhaar numbers for the voter ID has been made slightly cumbersome. Example, people need to cite the reasons why they do not want to link these two databases. Further, the government has some data, almost half of the voter base, sir, but they haven't linked the Aadhaar and the voter IDs to weed out duplicate voter IDs, sir. So that data is for now laying idle, and there's a demand to link the two databases so as to increase
So, in
the
your
electoral.
personal opinion, Tarun, should it be linked? Because you are an IT tech guy, you deal with data. So, as a data scientist, what would you suggest to your, let's say you are the advisor to the Home Ministry, what would you suggest to the government of India?
There are always concerns of privacy, and experts suggest that, as far as possible, two separate databases shouldn't be linked if there are easier ways to solve a problem rather than doing this steps. In my opinion, this linking isn't foolproof either, because small changes in, say, the address or the name of the person will have to be manually corrected, and then only this process can work out smoothly, sir. So, however, there are demands from the opposition parties and also for the electoral integrity of the country. We should ensure that one person is only gets only one vote, sir.
Because in Maharashtra, within the last 5 months, there has been an increment of 40 lakh voters. So that definitely says that it does not have that population explosion. कि 40 lakh people suddenly became from 17 to 18 years of age and they got their first voters, first votes. So it's very, very, obnoxious, I would say. So, okay, let's not talk about what's happening. You give me a suggestion how to weed out malicious voters or duplicate voters. You're a data scientist.
Sir, we can even work with a single voter ID database. Sir, one, we have to streamline and make this process very smooth in terms of what data is collected, and we have to ensure that it is collected methodologically and it should be verified by field officers first. Once we have this data, sir, we can run machine learning algorithms, especially clustering algorithms and other statistical algorithms that will help find out voter ID cards that will be marked as bogus or probably as bogus. And then some person, those field officers should be notified that these are the voter IDs which we think might be duplicate. You please go and check them. Sir, once this process is done, then we should be able to get a very small set that can then be refined through the Aadhaar database, sir.
Okay, are the three languages important for our growth?
So in principle, it is suggested that learning three languages enhances cognitive ability, and it also fosters a sense of unity in the country because multiple people will then be able to talk to each other. However, sir, I was reading a white paper by the National Curriculum Framework Committee,
Hmm.
and they suggested that in primary education, the children should be taught as far as possible in the mother tongue, and
Hmm.
only then the new languages, especially the English and one modern Indian language, should be uh, introduced to the student. So I believe three languages are important for these reasons, but they should be gradually rolled out, both in terms of national development, national rollout, and also to a single individual child.
Then why is Tamil Nadu restricting it or obstructing it since the inception of this formula? What problem do they have?
So for one, Tamil Nadu has already done well with its two language formula, and in terms of
Hmm.
educational indicators, it stands far ahead of India's average.
Hmm.
Sir, they allege that northern states have found a way to bypass the three language formula by teaching Sanskrit as the third language,
Hmm.
whereas the funding pattern of the center indicates that the center is trying to impose the third language as
Hmm.
Hindi to the southern states. So they
Hmm.
want a fair play that probably the if the northern states start teaching something like Tamil or some other modern southern language, then they can do the same.
Hmm. But the new three language formula is, I think, more liberal than the previous one, which was imposed by the Kothari Commission. So, what does the new three language formula say, which is present in the NEP 2020? Can you give me just a crux of it?
Yes, sir. The previous three language formula imposed Hindi as the third
Yeah.
language, whereas this recommends that two of the languages should be Indian and the third can be a foreign language, and
Hmm.
preferably one language should be the mother tongue of the children.
So now, after your statement, I conclude that Tamil Nadu is already teaching one native language. It's already teaching the third language, that is the foreign language. It is not the only bone of contention is the second native language here, right, Tarun? And the second native language, we should tell the people of Tamil Nadu that could be Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, Bodo, Dogri, Maithili, Santhali, whatever language, or Kannada, or any other South Indian or Dravidian language which you want, which you feel that would not threaten Tamil, right? This is the exact what we make up of. Now Stalin still says that we don't have money or funds or infrastructure for the second native language. So how would you resolve it? You are the chief secretary of that particular state, and you are the secretary of education in Tamil Nadu. Tallest IAS officer. You have funds, you have functionaries, you have functions. What would you? Obviously, there's a resource crunch for the states. They cannot afford. They are highly debt ridden. What would you do?
So may I take a moment?
Yes, yes, please.
Sir, the last time I checked, there were over 7,600 schools in Rajasthan alone run by a single teacher.
Hmm.
So, of course, a single teacher do not possess the capability to teach three languages, sir.
Very good. Hmm.
I see that this disparity between the number of students and the number of teachers is very visible, at least in Rajasthan, sir, and it might be a possibility in southern states too,
Hmm.
sir.
Hmm.
So, working out by rationalizing the number of teachers and ensuring that a fixed certain ratio is followed, say 20 students per teacher, and transferring out other teachers to other schools where they're required is number one step. I think this will, to some extent, solve this problem. Then also, sir, if there is a deficit of teachers, I think the recruitment process can be streamlined. So, getting the help from
What
central
if
board.
I am the CM and I deny that I am not going to spend a single penny on this? What will you do? Let's say I have cut out the funds part. It means functionaries part is also cut out. Now you can't hire more teachers. What will you do? Because if I have to bring, okay, if I have to bring, let's say, a Santhali or a Maithili teacher or a Bengali teacher to Tamil Nadu, I'll have to give him food, I'll have to give him space, I'll have to give him salary for the third language, which is not even taken seriously by our folks. So what should be done? What can be the simplest solution?
Sir, we can restructure the existing funds to provide more impetus to technology, especially AI and small language models in that regard, so that students can learn and ask their doubts from a teacher that is virtual in a sense, but yet provides them with personalized teaching.
या यूसेस रेड टेक जूम पर एक टीचर हायर कर लूंगा और वो 1 घंटे का लेक्चर अगर ले लेगा एक हफ्ते में जितना बहुत है एक थ्री लैंग्वेज के लिए उसके रहने खाने पीने की चिंता खत्म. See, I can sit here in Chandigarh and you can sit there in Nalwar and we can still interact, or you may be anywhere in the world. It's not charging me a penny, it's not charging you a penny. उसका जो विजडम का पार्ट है वो मैं उसको दे दूंगा टीचर को, वेरी सिंपल. एंड देयर आर अदर थिंग्स आल्सो, मैसिव ओपन ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज, मूक्स. There is a Swayam scheme also where the youngsters can utilize these platforms. पहले से ही एनसीईआरटीज वगैरह तो पढ़ी होंगी, बेसिक्स तो ऑनलाइन तैयार ही होंगे. और आप ये भी बोलो कि सर कोविड के बाद हमारे स्टूडेंट्स हैव बीन अडेप्टेबल टू दीज ऑन टेक्नोलॉजीज ऑनलाइन. सो आई डोंट थिंक देयर विल बी अ ह्यूज मिसमैच. आप ये एक सॉल्यूशन दे दीजिएगा. नाउ सिंस यू आर अ साइंटिफिक माइंड, अगेन टेल मी हाउ वुड यू हैव प्रिवेंटेड द कुंभ मेला डेथ्स. देवर डेथ्स इन कुंभ मेला, राइट तरुण? उनको प्रिवेंट करना है. लेट्स से यू आर द टूरिज्म सेक्रेटरी ऑफ यूपी. You have funds, you have functions, you have functionaries, you have everything at your disposal. Tallest IAS officer in the state. Now I am Yogi Adityanath. I am telling you कि बेटा कुंभ मेला ऑर्गेनाइज करो और ऐसा करो एक भी मृत्यु नहीं होनी चाहिए ऑन द ग्राउंड.
So there are two crucial aspects in this. One is the people that are currently in the Kumbh Mela, and the number two is people who are coming to Kumbh Mela or the logistics parts of it, sir. Sir, for the people that are already in the Kumbh Mela, although there were few drones utilized to sense the density of the people, sir, I think we could have augmented this with the kind of solution that we devised during COVID times, that is having an app that communicates. I think it was Arogya Setu that communicated through Bluetooth with other nearby devices. And
कोविन ऐप या
so
हाँ बिल्कुल.
combining these two technologies, further pilgrimages were already provided with a RFID card. So, sir, RFID scanners on hotspots could have been deployed so that we are able to sense the density of people in a region and then take solutions appropriately. So, for example, asking people to disburse through notification on their apps or making these notifications through the drones. Sir, planning of the days could be done, sir. There will be certain days where there will be excessive uh, crowd, and there will be other days that will be relatively calmer. We can ask people to come in batches and also provide a sort of a quota system so that there isn't very much crowd on a particular day. And the logistics part, sir, I think there should be dedicated lanes for people who want to come, and heavy traffic police deployment should be there.
You don't play outdoor games?
Sir, I go for jogging and I have many friends who join me.
And did you not attend the Rendezvous Fest in IIT Delhi?
Yes, sir, I wasn't able to attend it since college. I am planning to do it this year,
Okay, you are planning to do it as a super senior.
sir.
Okay, would you invite me as well? Because it's been long that I attended Rendezvous or I attended Moods Indigo and all those fests in IITs. It's been long. Would you invite me?
Sure, sir, they are enjoyable for every person, and I think they offer something unique for every person. So,
Tell me, why are the IITs becoming the manufacturing hub for IAS officers? No, every third IAS officer is now an IIT, and I feel in the present generation of the officers. And IITs don't even teach humanities, which is a core of IAS. They don't teach you polity, economy, history, and geography, which the civil services curriculum emphasizes on. And there's a minimal part of science. There is science, but not as much as the humanities. So, how come? Can you explain this?
so this is a natural trajectory in any developing country. People want to solve hard problems, and bureaucracy provides the hardest problem in a sense. The problems of sanitation, education, healthcare, revenue taxations require greater engagement and flexibility from a person, something that any person with a logical mind would crave for. And sir, I believe as the IITians are not just pursuing this path, there are harder problems in research too. So now people are starting startups in space sector, defense sector, biotechnology. So I believe it is that aspirations of people are very high, especially from IITs, and this is the reason they choose to appear for UPSC.
But I think you as an IITian are overqualified for this job. Your latest salary, which per month, I don't know if it's a mistake or that's a genuine figure, that's 5 lakh per month. You're drawing salary more than the RBI governor, I feel. And before that you were 5 lakh 50, and then 2.5. Obviously I'm not going to kidnap you, don't worry. But then huh, but then don't you feel that you'll be so less? And now what do you do for a living since January 2024? What have you been doing for a living?
Sir, I'm currently a software engineer at Google. I work on the Gemini model there, sir.
ओके, सो नाउ ऑल्सो यू आर वर्किंग। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर वो मेंशन नहीं है तुम्हारा करंट जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट है। बट देन डोंट यू थिंक यू आर ओवर क्वालिफाइड, तरुण? यू डोंट नीड सच जॉब। यू वर वेरी वेल प्लेस्ड इन अ कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड।
Sir, we talk of this $30 trillion economy by 2047. And sir, digital technology is one very crucial aspect for that. And there is a difference between where the technology is right now and how is it used in governance. And I, coming from a technical background, believe that I can help bridge that gap. So I would like to contribute towards that. And two, sir, although the problems in computer science are hard, but they're still very data driven and very straightforward in a sense. The problems of governance are, in my opinion, much more complex and require building a intuition that is more than just data problem solving, sir.
But you've chosen only specific services for that. Why not the other service? Only 5 out of 21. What is the reason?
So there are multiple factors we consider when considering a career, sir. It of course includes the power to make a difference, the skill set that we already have that we are going to give to the upcoming jobs, sir. And also what new skill sets such as say disaster management or something related to revenue that I can learn which I will not be able to learn in corporate. So I've combined all these factors with some weightage and I found out that I will be able to make a greater impact both for the nation and for myself in these particular services.
But why foreign services was neglected by you? Because it's a highly coveted service, and we need some brilliant minds like you in the foreign service. Because diplomacy is now running wild, especially the new geopolitics which has come to the fore.
Sir, the idea of going to a foreign nation to serve our nation never appealed to me. I have had this opportunity in the corporate too. It is just that I have a very close affinity for the culture of India, sir, and I would like to stay in India and contribute here itself.
So, how have you contributed to India in the past, let's say, 5 years after your graduation? Have you done something for the society?
Sir, being a citizen, I pay my taxes regularly. For one, that is, of course, my duty too.
I think
In
that's a legal obligation. You, anyways, have to do it. Yeah. I'm talking about the charity aspect.
Sir, I contribute back to my IIT Delhi through alumni donations, sir. Further, I in fact have been donating for children through the Keto app, sir.
Hmm.
And sir, I also keep in mind of environmental sustainability, something that I only got concerned about after studying for UPSC, sir. So, for example, I do not own a car and I
Hmm.
use public transport as far as possible. I have
Very
installed solar power, a solar plant on my home, sir.
good.
So that helps me in going greener. So I make these small contributions from my side.
Very good. Are you aware of India's stand at the COP29?
Sir, I do not remember the exact statements from the COP, sir.
ओके, कोई बात नहीं, इसको थोड़ा सा दो तीन पॉइंट्स को ब्रश अप कर लेना। व्हाट इज पीपल, पीस एंड प्लैनेट? काल चक्र, हैव यू हर्ड अबाउट दिस फ्रेज?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm missing the context. I
रायसेना डायलॉग का थीम है ये।
got it, sir.
पीपल, पीस एंड प्लैनेट। ऑब्वियसली बात यहाँ क्या हुई होगी, रायसेना डायलॉग इंटरनेशनल डायलॉग है, हमने डिप्लोमेसी के लिए करा था। तो पीपल मतलब लोगों की, पीस मतलब जो शांति बनाए रखें, प्लैनेट मतलब एनवायरमेंटलिज्म।
Sir.
तो लोगों का मतलब नॉर्थ साउथ डिवाइड, गरीब देशों को हेल्प करना, पीस मतलब भाई सारे वॉर्स को बंद करो, ये थीम थी। और प्लैनेट मींस एनवायरमेंटलिज्म। And it is also related to the COP29, the global fund transfers from the north to south. mitigation fund, adaptation fund, and all that. Okay. But you must be aware of India's stand at the or India's position at the AI summit, which happened in France. Are you aware?
India AI, sorry, Action AI Action Summit, sir.
हाँ, AI summit France वाला. हम्म,
Yes. Sir, India vouched for democratizing the access to not only compute but data sets and making the AI models bias free, more transparent, more accountable,
हम्म,
and bridging the gap between of the capacity also, sir, between the developed and the developing nations. Further, we propagated for AI is in an use case manner, sir. For
हम्म,
example, there will be many first time internet users in our country, and the interface of them for them might be AI. So making AI accessible in such a sense that they can use it on an use case basis.
Recently, your birthplace, Haryana, it said that all the pregnancies have to be registered. How do you see it, Tarun?
Sir, for one, the registration has to be with a local government official, specifically from a health department, sir.
Hmm,
Uh, Sir, this because the abortion timeline is greater than the registration timeline, sir. This will inevitably blow it blow to the privacy of the individual, sir, because they will register and because these are local people, sir, so their identity might be publicized, and this might lead to, sir, their exploitation in some sense, sir. So I
जस्ट
think,
प्रिपेयर इट, इसको प्रिपेयर करना, हिंदू में आर्टिकल है, इसके लिए कुछ बुलेट पॉइंट्स लिख दो, इसके फेवर में भी प्रिपेयर करना और इसके अगेंस्ट भी प्रिपेयर करना. सो why has the inclusion of non-Muslim members in the Waqf properties and Waqf boards been controversial? Or can you justify their inclusion?
sir, I
The
believe,
non-Muslims, huh?
so diversity in any field, be it religion or be it science, is necessary
Hmm.
because the diversity of opinion helps us see things which might have we might have avoided otherwise, sir.
Hmm.
So it is not necessary that the other because the people from other religion will be in minority. They might not necessarily influence the final judgment, but they will help in aiding the decision making process.
You could say, sir, we could infer towards the role of independent directors in Companies Act. They work for the stakeholders and they work in aid of the shareholders, that the company acts in an impartial manner and it's accorded more transparency, and the decision making also becomes more secular, you could say this. He could counter you that why do the Hindu organizations or the majority community organizations not have members from minority? I've never seen a Muslim being a part of the Vaishno Devi Shrine Board. So how do you justify this?
Sir, most of the temples that receive huge donation are in fact covered by laws of the state. So there are trusts that run these temples, sir, and
Hmm.
there are provisions of having the management people from any religion, sir. So in this regard, the big temples are on equal footing with the what the Waqf board proposes, sir.
No, they don't have a provision that essentially some members should be non-Hindus. ऐसा कहीं भी मैंने तो देखा नहीं. Are you aware of something? मेरे हिसाब से तो नहीं. आप बोल सकते हो कि सर इन फ्यूचर वी में हैव सिमिलर रिफॉर्म्स टू सेक्युलराइज ऑल द रिलीजियस फाउंडेशंस और इंस्टीट्यूशंस. आप ये स्टैंड ले लो, क्योंकि इसका आंसर मुझे भी नहीं पता, टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक. I'm just assuming that he'll counter question you on this if ever he asks you, because it's a burning topic. It's highly likely that any board would go towards it. Now, Mr. Modi attended the BIMSTEC summit, and it was quite, I would say, quite a successful summit. There was huge cry, and he was welcomed with pomp in Thailand. Is it time to say goodbye to SARC?
The SARC has been defunct for a long time now, but it is I would say it is in hibernation. It has not been completely left off and made dysfunctional.
Hmm.
So because the rivalry between India and Pakistan, especially with respect to terrorism and border issues, lends itself to not so productive dialogues on the west of the country, sir. I think, and BIMSTEC provides a platform for us to engage with our eastern partners. I think we need both for a stable neighborhood, and our neighborhood first policy requires that in the long term we be on good terms with all our neighbors. That being said, sir, our policy of terror and talk cannot go together makes it slightly hard for us to revive SARC as of now, but we should keep it in our domain.
हाँ, एक एक अभी तुमसे पहले ही एक लड़की ने बड़ी अच्छी स्टेटमेंट बोली, और वो जेनरिक स्टेटमेंट ही है दैट वी डोंट नीड बिम्स्टेक वर्सेस सार्क, वी नीड बिम्स्टेक एंड सार्क। और इसको और अगर आप बेटर करना चाहो वहां बोलने के लिए, आप बोलना कि सर बिम्स्टेक कुड बी एन एसेंशियल ब्रिज बिटवीन सार्क एंड आसियान। आसियान और सार्क के बीच में कनेक्टिंग लिंक बन जाएगा। ठीक है। सो ट्रम्प हैज इम्पोज 26% टैरिफ। आर यू हैप्पी with the figure? How do you see it as a policy maker?
That this unilateral imposition of tariff by Mr. Trump in against to the provisions of the WTO, I see it as a blow to the international order, more specifically the economic order, sir. I
Hmm.
believe such unilateral action only bring in volatility and uncertainty in the global markets, which are the last thing that we require, sir, because it disrupts the supply chain and the trust between the countries. I think a more feasible option is dialogue and discussion, sir. So,
Hmm.
as a both as a citizen and someone who observes policy making, I think India is treading the right path by being silent and making both behind the door negotiations and also observing the situation and making those agile steps.
Is Indian society not ready for the dark comedies?
Sir, Article 919 provides for freedom of speech and expression. However, sir, there are limitations of decency and morality. Sir, I think any speech should adhere to these. And sir, because the OTT platforms are not regulated, any child can see and absorb such material, and this might impact their development in a sense, sir. So I believe there should be some sort of regulation at least on the media and OTT platforms should be brought in ambit, and then we can gradually decide on what kind of comedy is allowed. Until then, I think the Supreme Court's observation that such vulgar content shouldn't be allowed is apt.
Hmm. So you mean that the society is not ready for this? This is what you mean?
Uh, so there's no need for such content. I think we can do with good content. We have enough of that.
There's a regime change in Canada. What do you expect?
Sir, there were diplomatic ties were unserved during the previous regime. I'm very sorry, sir. Did you ask me about Canada or
Ah, Canada, Canada. You're right.
it wasn't a regime change? Then I thought probably it was Bangladesh. Okay. So, sir, the diplomatic
Change of statesman. Ah.
said the fall in diplomatic ties between India and Canada were due to the involvement of some fringe groups into their domestic politics. And I believe that India and Canada has enjoyed very good relationship in the past. And with
Hmm.
the change in, sir, the head of the state, I think such fringe elements would not get their uh, foot into their domestic and international policy, and we should see a revival of our relationship with Canada.
So your state, Haryana, Uttarakhand, UP, and many other states are obsessed with changing the names of their cities. Right. So how do you see it? I'll give you a monologue from changing Allahabad to Prayagraj. We almost spent 500 crores as the administrative cost that could have been spent on schools, education, sanitation, and whatnot. How do you see it?
Sir, as rightly pointed out, it incurs administrative cost, including the Department of Post and sir, updating the maps, even updating the disaster management plan or master development plan of our respective cities, sir. Uh, Sir, in my opinion, we should promote any idea or any ideology that reflects the idea of Indians, being Indian, that is being culturally plural and being tolerant. So and I believe there is a power to name, sir. So I will give two examples. Supreme Court 2 years back released a dictionary or a vocabulary to be used in their judgments. It was made gender neutral, and it was an indication that just changing the words is an action in itself. It is not a statement, it is an action, sir. And so this points out that words and names have meaning, and I think we can afford some renaming, but it should be for the national advancement and not for identity politics.
Okay, but it doesn't bring about any substantial change on the ground. I don't think Prayagraj has become a cleaner city than Allahabad, right?
Yes, of course, this is the first step. Renaming can be a first step, but it is not the final step, sir. We need to match it with actual action on the ground.
आप यहाँ पर एक लाइन ऐड कर देना अपने आंसर में कि सर वी कुड ऑल्सो गिव अ मॉरल प्लेज टू द सिटीजंस ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर प्लेस दैट इफ यू गॉट अ बेटर प्लेस सी नेम चेंज कब होता है पीपल डिमांड गवर्नमेंट रिस्पॉन्ड्स एंड दे चेंज इट वेरी सिंपल तो ठीक है वो हो गया अब आप लोगों को एक मॉरल प्लेज है दैट यू विल मेक प्रयागराज अ बेटर प्लेस बाय बिकमिंग बेटर citizens. You'll be more law abiding citizens. You'll stop spitting on the roads. You'll stop defecating in the open. You'll not make mockery of the communal issues, or you'll not you'll maintain a good social healthy social fabric. So आप ये ऐड कर दीजिएगा कि नाम बदल दो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है कल्चरल एस्पिरेशंस हैं फाइन और पैसा भी हो जाएगा दैट शुड बी सीन एज एन एक्स्ट्रा कॉस्ट ठीक है इन द लार्जर कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द इकोनॉमी नाउ Muhammad Yunus went to China. Why did he rake up the issue of Northeast?
Sir, according to some experts, these comments might be erroneous in the sense that we believe that Bangladesh's policy towards India hasn't changed, and Muhammad Yunus might be referring to a lesser intensity indication that Bangladesh is in fact adjoined to the sea, and the northeastern states of India are landlocked. But
Hmm.
the broader implication of inviting China to that region are unwarranted for. And I think only a established government should make such comments if they do.
Hmm. You say, sir, these were irresponsible. These were irresponsible and they have been rejected by our country. Very good. Okay. Why did PM Modi go to Sri Lanka recently?
Yeah, sir, I'm not aware if there was a very genuine big reason. I think this is a regular visit they made to Sri Lanka, as the heads of Indian government usually do to our neighboring countries.
No, you say, sir, in the spirit of neighborhood first policy or to warm up the relations with the new governor there, वहां पर न्यू नया प्रेसिडेंट आया शायद नई रिजीम आई है नई गवर्नमेंट आई है वहां पर तो इसलिए गए थे एंड सर मोर ओवर इट इज स्ट्रेटेजिकली इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ द इंडियन ओशन एंड सार्क डिप्लोमेसी के लिए एंड ऑल दैट ठीक है ओके सेक्शन 69 एंड सेक्शन 79 कैपिटल ए ऑफ द आईटी they were in use. Why?
Sir, Section 69 of the IT Act provides that information on the intermediary platforms such as Twitter be regulated, and it should adhere to certain standards which are public order, morality, sovereignty, and integrity of the nation. Whereas sir, Section 79 says that a platform enjoys immunity for the content that it harbors, and government can ask it to remove that content, and if it doesn't, then it loses that safe harbor protection, sir. So Twitter complained to the Supreme Court of India that government of India was using Section 79 instead of the Section 69, because it does not provide any limitations on the government part. And the Sahyog portal that is being utilized by the government of India and is widely publicized to state governments and even to say, police station, provides large discretionary powers to executive to curb such content, which in their opinion should not be there.
So what should be done? Are we not destroying the creative economy by doing this? Even Kunal Kamra case. Okay, that was a different case, but that was a case of vandalism. So अगर आपको ये पूछा जाए कि is creative economy being threatened in India or stifled in India? वाई कटन मैगजीन तमिलनाडु की जिसने पॉलिटिकल कार्टून बनाया था, ग्रॉक्स वाला केस हो गया, और भी बहुत सारे कार्टूनिस्ट असीम त्रिवेदी, वो तो चलो बहुत पहले था, बट स्टिल देयर इज अ केस. सो द एक्सप्रेशन इकोसिस्टम इन इंडिया, अभिव्यक्ति की आजादी इकोसिस्टम इन इंडिया, हाउ डू यू सी इट?
Sir, of course, creative expression is necessary, and India's creative economy is expanding. But sir, intermediate platforms cannot have a free hand because the issue of misinformation, disinformation, rumor is increasing on such platforms, and in absence of any other regulations, there has to be some authority, at least for matters that are very grieve in nature. So I think government should enjoy such rights, sir. And anyway, the Section 69A has limitations on when the government can use it. Further, sir, Supreme Court guardians these laws, sir, and they have made appropriate judgments in this regard.
Tarun, what is due process of law?
So due process of law says that the process that is followed in making a law should be legitimate, and it should have followed the procedure. And then, sir, after the law has been enacted, there has to be some check or validity of the law that can be checked by, say, the Supreme Court of the country, sir.
No. You simply say, sir, the law has to be fair. The law has to be reasonable. The law has to be non-arbitrary. ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ ये होता है. प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश बाय लॉ ये होता है कि जो लॉ कहेगा वो पत्थर की लकीर है और आपको उसको फॉलो करना. ये मैंने वैसे ही पूछ लिया, वो तुमसे नहीं पूछेगा, मैंने रैंडमली पूछ लिया, मुझे कोई क्वेश्चन दिमाग में नहीं आ रहा था तो मैंने ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ पूछ लिया. बट दोनों में डिफरेंस है. प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश बाय लॉ वर्सेस ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ. प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश बाय लॉ कह रहा है कि अगर लॉ बन गया कि आप सबने साड़ी पहनकर एक्टिवा चलाना है, तो वो आपको चलाना ही पड़ेगा. उसके खिलाफ कोई रेमेडी नहीं है. हर इंसान को साड़ी पहननी पड़ेगी, दुपट्टा लेना पड़ेगा, जो भी है वोडेवर, और उसको एक्टिवा चलाना पड़ेगा. अदरवाइज कोई भी इंसान, लड़का है लड़की, एक्टिवा नहीं चला सकता. बट ये तो है प्रोसीजर एस्टैब्लिश बाय लॉ. ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ क्या बोलता है? वो लॉ की वैलिडिटी को इस तरह से नहीं देखेगा कि उसका पालन हुआ है या नहीं, वो ये भी चेक करेगा कि लॉ खुद में अपने आप में फेयर है या नहीं. यू कांट इम्पोज कि साड़ी पहनकर एक्टिवा चलाओ. दैट्स नॉट अ गुड लॉ. सो ड्यू प्रोसेस ऑफ लॉ इज मोर कॉमन सेंसिकल. Procedure established by law is more theoretical.
Sir.
We took it from UK and we took due process of law from America. Because UK में we have established the principle of parliamentary sovereignty. कि जो पार्लियामेंट ने बोल दिया वो पत्थर की लकीर है. अगर उसने पार्लियामेंट ने बोल दिया कि साड़ी पहनकर एक्टिवा चलाना है, तो साड़ी पहनकर ही एक्टिवा चलाना. ओके. More than 1 year of death, destruction, displacement, rapes, fire, children being orphaned. I'm talking about Manipur. Tarun, have we failed in Manipur?
Sir, the conflict in Manipur has its immediate roots in the High Court order, but sir, the long-term roots are very old, sir. So there are historical, cultural reasons because of which this violence occurred. And sir, though government and now the with the president's rule, there have been efforts to keep the communities, bring the communities together and foster dialogue and choke out a plan for the long-term harmony.
Hmm.
These steps inevitably take long time, sir. So, in my opinion, it could have been handled better as any situation if we see in retrospect, sir. But this is a long-rooted issue that will require some time to solve.
Hmm. ठीक है, you've taken a diplomatic stand by not accepting that India failed in Manipur. That's a valid stance. बिल्कुल, I agree. Okay, let's talk about the no detention policy. You have 5 more minutes.
Sir.
हाँ, नो डिटेंशन पॉलिसी होनी चाहिए, नहीं होनी चाहिए स्कूल्स में?
Sir, the government of India, specifically in the Right to Education Act, had this policy of no detention, and then it moved toward detention policy. And the experts argue for both of the sides, sir. No detention, in fact, motivates children to improve upon their deficiencies and keep learning in their life, sir.
Hmm.
Detention might lead to more harsh consequences, such as decreasing the enrollment ratio
Hmm.
and losing faith in schooling and transitioning to child labor earlier, sir. So in my opinion, children, so the CBSE steps, so for example, of conducting two sir, exams in a year, give finds a middle line between this, so that so that the children get time to rectify their mistakes. And sir, I think this should be augmented with specialized learning attention to children who are feeling behind.
Hmm.
And I think more personalized attention should be given to such children. I think, and we should continue
Okay,
with it.
I'll quote something from the economist Vivek Debaroy. He said that India has a twin phenomena of one is jobless growth and the other is growthless jobs. Jobless growth and growthless jobs. How do we address it?
Sir, we have some labor-intensive sectors, especially leather, textile, etc., in which we can employ more people by streamlining our regulatory processes, decreasing the severity of the labor laws that we currently have by notifying the code on wages that was already passed in Parliament, sir. We should further incentivize our corporates to employ more people by giving them benefits in terms of, say, ESIC, etc. Also, the PM internship program is a good step in this regard, sir. It will provide more skills to the young people, sir, and it also will provide a supply of qualified students to the
Hmm.
companies, sir. Uh, Sir, regarding growthless job, I think this is something that can be tackled through skilling initiatives. And given now the skilling initiatives can be more tailored, and with the advancements in AI, people can learn new aspects of the job and even can go across interdisciplinary uh, projects, sir, with the help of newer technologies.
There's a very low stipend in IIT Delhi for the PhD research scholars. It's nearly 30 to 35K. Do you think this amount is a justified amount? Because recently there has been a debate for low pay grade, and otherwise also we have a very poor R&D ecosystem. We spend only approximately 0.65% of our GDP towards research and development in the field of science and technology. And then I could even cite an article which there was a chest thumping by some minister that we will bypass or we'll surpass America in the number of published papers and citations. But then we never talk about the quality of research in India, quality of the papers published in India. So, what is your take on the whole scenario?
Sir, I agree that the pay difference between the PhD student and the corporate, in fact, pushes people to corporate. In fact, sir, a push for me coming to corporate was partly due to this. And Sir, further, we have this problem of brain drain. Our brightest mind go to USA and other Western countries for their PhDs. This is also exacerbated by the low pay that we have for the PhDs. I think unequivocally, we should increase this stipend. Further, sir, it is true that the quality of research in India is something that is not often talked about. And there is a gap between Tier 1 institutions such as IIT, IIMs and even Tier 2 institutions, sir. This gap is not so pronounced in developed countries such as USA, sir. There is a gradual spectrum of universities there. We have here a very stark difference in our universities.
हम्म,
I think with the Higher Education Council and the National Research Foundation, we should provide more grants not just to the institutes of eminence or institutes of national importance, but to other institutions so that they are able to improve their research outcomes.
तुम एक और रिपोर्ट पढ़ लेना, ये आज ही हिंदू में आई है, फ्यूचर ऑफ जॉब्स रिपोर्ट 2025 वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम की आई है, एंड क्यूएस वर्ल्ड फ्यूचर स्किल्स, ये तुम्हारा एआई वगैरह के बारे में ही है, वर्ल्ड फ्यूचर स्किल्स इंडेक्स, ये दोनों चीजें आप पढ़ लीजिएगा। आपकी तैयारी, आई थिंक इट्स मोर देन तैयारी, यू आर परफेक्टली प्लेस तरुण। नॉलेज में तुम्हारा कोई वो नहीं है, कोई भी वो मतलब कोई भी तुम्हें पछाड़ नहीं सकता तुम्हारी एरियाज में, और इन जनरल वेरी नॉलेजेबल। नॉलेज पर तो मैं जज भी नहीं करता और वो भी नहीं करेंगे। सिंपल, दे विल नॉट जज यू ऑन योर नॉलेज बिकॉज यू ऑलरेडी प्रूवन योर मेटल इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट। वो तुम प्री और मेंस क्लियर करके आए हो। दूसरा, तुम्हारा एटीट्यूड परफेक्ट, वेरी सॉफ्ट, वेरी हम्बल, वेरी जेंटल, यू आर वेरी रिस्पेक्टफुल, यू नॉड, यू हैव परफेक्ट स्माइल ऑन योर फेस। मतलब देर इज नथिंग दैट आई फील इज लैकिंग इन यू। मतलब अगर ये आपका ओरिजिनल इंटरव्यू भी होता, ये खैर मैंने तो बहुत डाइवर्स, वो इतना डाइवर्स नहीं जाएंगे, इतना लंबा नहीं होगा, 1 घंटे का तो बिल्कुल नहीं होगा, 35 मिनट्स, एंड आई थिंक दे विल गिव यू 35 मिनट्स। और अगर वो इस चीज पर आ गए, तुम्हें 20-25 मिनट से ज्यादा दे दिए, आई थिंक यू आर स्कोरिंग 185 प्लस। तुम 185 से ऊपर स्कोर कर रहे हो, और इसमें कोई भी दो राय नहीं है, बिल्कुल भी दो राय नहीं है। On a given day you will easily breach that magical figure of 195 200 also। तो सितारे वगैरह अगर कुछ अलाइन होते हैं तो वो विल हैव टू सी, एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स में जाना पड़ेगा हमें, एस्ट्रोलॉजी में रादर, तो स्यूडो साइंस में जाना पड़ेगा हमें। बट अदरवाइज आई थिंक मैंने जो भी इश्यूज पूछे हैं, तुमने चाहे आईआर के पूछे हैं, चाहे मैंने सोसाइटी के पूछे हैं, चाहे मैंने थोड़े टेक्निकल पूछे हैं, चाहे एनवायरनमेंट के पूछे हैं, जो तुम्हें नहीं आता तुम कॉन्फिडेंटली मना कर देते हो। ओके, व्हाई आर मैरिजेस कंट्रोवर्शियल इन राजस्थान?
Controversial, sir.
Marriages are controversial there. Whenever there is a marriage, there is a controversy involved, and it makes a national headline। छोटी सी शादी भी होती है राजस्थान में, कभी तो यार चाइल्ड मैरिजेस हो जाती हैं, तुम ये बोलोगे, कभी डाउरी इतना ज्यादा देते हैं, कभी लैविश वेडिंग्स होती हैं, इतना ओवर एक्सपेंडिचर होता है, कभी तुम ग्रूम को ही मारकर घोड़ी से गिरा देते हो क्योंकि वो लोअर कास्ट का है। तुम अगर डीएम होगे, रोकोगे कैसे? सोच लेना कैसे रोकोगे। या फिर तुम मेरे टूरिस्ट गाइड बनोगे राजस्थान के लिए? बोलो सर बन जाऊंगा, सोच कर रखना। अब बच्चे क्या गलती करते हैं, पैलेसेस के नाम लेते रहते हैं, जगहों के नाम लेते रहते हैं। भाई टॉक अबाउट द फूड ऑल्सो, टॉक अबाउट द डांसेस ऑल्सो, टॉक अबाउट द कल्चर, क्विजीन्स, एंड जो एक्स्ट्रा को करिकुलर एक्टिविटी। लेट्स से सर आप नाइट स्काई देख सकते हैं आप, है ना, एस्ट्रो टूरिज्म जिसको बोला जा रहा है आजकल, प्रमोट हो रहा है उन्हें, है ना, और ये सब आप कर सकते हैं। परफेक्ट यार, कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं है। अलवर पर यही आ सकता है, एनसीआर वगैरह वाला ही इसका रीजन रिसेंटली चल रहा था, न्यूज में था, और बाकी स्टेट्स भी डिमांड कर रही हैं, तो इसको आप पढ़ लीजिएगा कि और एक्सपैंड करो, एक्सपैंड करो। बाकी और तो तुम सारा, यू आर परफेक्टली प्लेस्ड, कोई भी मुझे कमी नहीं लगी। मैंने तुम्हारा हॉबीज में कुछ भी नहीं पूछा, द रीजन बीइंग क्योंकि वो तुम तैयार हो, वो तुम मुझसे ज्यादा या किसी से भी ज्यादा तैयार हो। तुम्हें मैं एआई वगैरह के बारे में नहीं पूछ सकता। हाँ, वर्क कल्चर के बारे में तुम्हें क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, दैट यू वोंट बी गेटिंग अ गुड वर्क कल्चर इन इन अ गवर्नमेंट जॉब, दे माइट बी अ लॉट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर, और तुम्हारे वहाँ हायरार्की नहीं होती, एक मैट्रिक्स मॉडल होता है कि एवरी पर्सन कैन रीच इवन टू द सीईओ ऑफ द कंपनी। बट यहाँ पर हायरार्की मेंटेन करनी पड़ेगी, तो हाउ विल यू कोप अप? एंड देयर माइट बी करप्शन ऑल्सो, लैक ऑफ ट्रांसपेरेंसी ऑल्सो, पीपल माइट बी अब्यूजिव ऑल्सो, है ना, इनडिसेंसी भी हो सकती है और गवर्नमेंट ऑफिस में, फिर एस्थेटिक नहीं होता, पंक्चुअलिटी, ये सब इश्यूज आएंगे तो कैसे टैकल करोगे तरुण? ये सब सोच कर रखना। जनरेटिव एआई वगैरह तो तुम्हें आता है, वो तुम समझा दोगे, वो तुम बहुत बेहतर समझा दोगे, दैट इज व्हाई आई डिड नॉट वेस्ट आवर टाइम ऑन दैट। जो मैंने चेक करना था मैं कर चुका। मुझे जो दो तीन चीजों का डर रहता है कि बच्चा वहां गलत स्टैंड लेगा और क्या होगा, उसके नंबर कट जाएंगे, he'll drop down from 190 to 140 because there are some things which are non-negotiable. They don't need Kejriwals, they don't need अन्ना हजारे जो सिस्टम को बदलने आए। सिस्टम को साथ चलकर रिफॉर्म्स लेकर आए, उसमें ग्रेजुअल चेंजेस उनको चाहिए, उनको एकदम अन्ना हजारे या विसल ब्लोज नहीं चाहिए। रियलिटी यही है, दे डोंट नीड विसल ब्लोज, है ना? Anything else which I can help you with?
First of all, thank you for the kind words. I was still in my cocoon that I don't know how I will do.